Charlie Joe Metal, wonderful singer, wonderful singer.
That's perfect song. I love the song.
Yeah.
Like everything Joe Metal, by the way.
Yeah. Kojo, are you inspired by the song?
How are you?
Every time. I'm great. It's good to see you.
You know what my son asked me? Okay, one of them. Do you know Joe Metal?
Oh, okay.
I said, yes, I know him.
Oh, why?
Are you sure?
Allah.
Yeah.
Well, my son is a big fan of Lexus Bill.
Oh.
And yeah, he keeps saying, I want to meet Lexus Bill. I was like, yeah, I see him all the time. He ain't that special.
Oh, you're jealous. Not true.
Of course he
Yeah,
is.
but good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you. Great to see you both. And I hope you had a nice weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. We're here on Saturday too.
Yes, we both were, weren't we?
Apparently it was monetized. We didn't know that.
I don't get
Which was monetized?
What was monetized? I don't understand.
The Saturday was monetized.
No.
Oh, you mean the primaries were monetized? We will be talking about that later, you know. Vote buying.
Yeah.
Vote buying. What I realized, and by the way, I'm hoping if our producers can help us, I had a bit of a conversation with a political analyst from Legon on Saturday, Dr. Asa Asante. And I tried with him to define vote buying. And I discovered how difficult it is. If we can get that clip, it will be very interesting. I gave him some scenarios, different things that politicians do, and asked him whether they would fall under the category of vote buying. By the end of it, it seemed that everything is vote buying. You know, everything politicians do that we take for granted.
Seem to be, or it is?
Well, that's why I said it seems that everything is vote buying.
Okay.
So,
but did you say it's difficult to define?
Yes, because if everything falls under the category of vote buying, then what is and what isn't?
It came out because I had a conversation with Emmy Bright and John Dumelo yesterday here on the show. Yeah. And that came out strongly as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Very difficult. People tend to, you know, switch the definition to suit themselves, you know, as politicians, you know, or as voters who are being...
So check this. John says, for instance, I pay school fees for people and I pay fees, you can take it back to like 2012, I pay fees for people on Legon campus. Yeah. You know, around this time, I've given monies to people to expand their businesses. You know,
why does he do
it? Well, he does it because...
he wants to get their votes?
Well, 2012, he didn't stand for any election, did he?
But that's not the point.
So he says. Let me just. So I don't quote him out of context. So he says. So you know, I've been doing these things, and even if I am not here, I'm not standing for anything. I will still do it. Do you call that vote buying?
But you see, that's a good question. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. When he was doing it, who was he doing it for? Okay, was he doing it for people who he believes are voters? Or was he simply doing it for them because they are Ghanaians, he has money, and he wants to help them? You get it? Even if he wasn't standing for public office, he belongs to a political party. So was he doing that so that his political party would be seen to have helped these people? Or that a member of that party would be seen to have helped these people? You get it? Did he do it in a political context, even if he wasn't running for office at the time he did it? These are the things that will make it vote buying. Okay? If you do anything that is aimed at using material means to convince a voter, whether it succeeds or not is immaterial. The point is you are doing it because you want votes.
Okay, so who gets into the person's head to know the motive?
So it's not about getting into the person's head. It's about having a definition of it. So that whatever is in your head, if you commit to this act and the act falls under the definition, you are buying votes. Doesn't matter what's in your head. That's why we have to clarify, we have to define it, you know, so that we don't have such ambiguous conversations.
Hiding under a certain whatever. Well, so we'll jump into it after spot. So let's do the newspapers then.
So many of them this morning. I have three. I have the Daily Statesman, the Finder, and the Daily Guide.
All right, I'll do the Ghanaian Times. Okay. Roland would take care of what? Okay, I'll do the Times and the Graphic. So you start.
Okay, so the Custodian. The Custodian says defeated NDC MP aspirant yell, deceit, blackmail, vote buying, rock primaries. The Custodian.
And you're mimicking who exactly?
the defeated. But do you know, it's also interesting that we only get to hear accusations of vote buying when they are defeated.
Well, yes. and so that will be important when we discuss this later.
Yeah,
true. To ask the question of, for example, was it Ras Mubarak who said the other guys were paying more than him, basically?
So it means that he was paying, but
you know, in essence, that's the suggestion, that you bought more votes than I did, therefore you are wrong.
Well, so other stories also occupying the front page of the Custodian. All of Fwanse Ayurubi communities to get water by 2020. And it's being sourced to the MP, Kujo Oponkruma. Government, IPPs to review take-or-pay energy contracts. To move residents, protest against timber processing factory. Okay, so we also have the front page of the Daily Dispatch next, and it has former board member tells president, open your eyes into National Youth Authority. And we know that that gentleman is said to have resigned. It's been reported. NDC primaries, the analysis has an attached picture, actually a truncated picture, or well, halved picture of President or former President John Dramani Mahama. And a crowd of NDC supporters at a rally, possibly. You have to get to page 2 and 12 of the Daily Dispatch for the full stories. A short reminder to those with short memories, last Friday's issue. And it says NDC's 2020 constituency primaries, Ablakwa, Adoboy, Ofosu, Ramadan, and Susu likely to win. Yeah. Those predictions all came to pass, except if Adoboy, Don Dumelo won in that contest. Okay. All right, so that'll be it, guys.
All right, well, I have the Statesman, Finder, and Daily Guide. I'll do them in that order. Banner headline this morning, front page of the Daily Statesman. Take or pay power deals under review. The story is on page 2. This is, okay. Finance and Energy Ministries meet power and gas producers. West Africa's largest steel factory commissioned in Ghana. This is supposed to be under the One District, One Factory initiative. African elections about popularity, not competence, says Professor Jampo. This is what I would like to talk about a bit later, if I get the opportunity.
I disagree with it.
So do I, actually. Let's look on the back page of the Daily Statesman this morning. Racism in football. Garth Crooks fears Cantona moment unless action taken. Also, Rudisha, Olympic champion, thankful after surviving car accident. David Rudisha, of course, the 800-meter Olympic champion there, involved in an accident, unfortunately, but he has survived it, thank goodness. Okay, the Finder newspaper next, and on the front page this morning, Springfield makes history as first indigenous Ghanaian and African energy company to drill for hydrocarbons in deep water at depths of 4,000 feet and beyond. That's a rather convoluted headline there, but I think it's important to get those details in. That is exactly how Springfield has made history. Well done to Kevin Ochre, I believe his name is. Gentleman was on Steve Harvey's show.
That's him, man.
That's him.
Ah, yeah, because I thought the name sounded familiar. Yeah.
Government and IPPs begin 3-month talks to resolve take-or-pay contracts. Yeah, that also I'd like to make a comment on a bit later. Presby Church cautions government on introduction of comprehensive sexual education. Hey, Razi, these are churches, eh? Where are they leading us? So we can talk about violence, we can talk about drugs, but sex is it on yet? It's fascinating stuff. Isn't it better to make sure people are educated so they don't do some of the wrong things we're seeing in society? Well, anyway, page 5 has the full story. The Presby Church is cautioning government. I hope their caution is that government should do it comprehensively and in an age-appropriate way, not that it shouldn't happen at all. It says there is need to be careful not to introduce ideas and attitudes that were incompatible with our religious and cultural values. Oh, really? What a pity. Afenyo Markin gives 105 laptops to private school teachers, not public school teachers, private school teachers. That's interesting. Private schools, are they not supposed to basically run as businesses and, you know,
Yeah, he started an initiative, one laptop, one school.
But why private schools?
Maybe he started with, I don't know whether, but I thought I settled the story somewhere on one of the portals.
Again, why private schools? I mean, they are owned by individuals who are running them for profit. So why is the MP giving them...
the time, well, that it will be to all schools. I don't know why the headline has captured it only private schools.
Because that's what he's done. I've seen it in another newspaper this morning. It's private schools that he has given the money.
So this is vote by?
I don't know what it is. I don't know, but why private schools? I'm
you know they have their primaries 26th or something in September?
Yeah. I'm interested. I would like to know why private schools. Police invite a DOSCA group chairman for allegedly threatening receiver of Unibank, and there were some letters flying back and forth over the
weekend. There were some emails, and he's arguing that he had copied to a number of personalities.
I saw Malik Dabu copied in on the letter that he wrote.
You didn't copy me. It's been a while.
No. Yeah, anyway.
He doesn't have my email, so.
Daily Guide. Oh, perhaps he wanted it on myjoyonline.com, which is why, possibly. Daily Guide next. Copied? No, I wasn't. Banner headline this morning, Daily Guide. Amidu hunts for missing $15 million oil cash. This matter, I don't know if you remember the story. It started from way back in Atta Mills' time. Some money that was supposed to be paid by EO Group to develop some communities in the Western region.
Was there a vice president involved at the time?
I wonder. I wonder.
There was this accusation of it.
There was, wasn't there? So it's one of the stories on the docket, one of the cases on the docket of the special prosecutor, according to our sources there, you know, as we put out some months ago. Yeah, and apparently he's kicking into gear with that investigation because the money simply cannot be accounted for. You know, and this is one of the reasons why the previous government was really seen, you know, perceived as being so corrupt, because there wasn't finesse to it. Basically, some money comes, it's earmarked for government coffers, and then it just doesn't make it there. That's it. The money is taken, keke. And then nobody asks questions until perhaps some other government comes along and expresses an interest in it, and then suddenly it becomes a case. It's like I don't know. In this government, clearly there are corruption cases going on. There are accusations of corruption, but you can at least see a certain attempt by the people who are accused of corruption, you know, to cover their backs. And it takes some sort of investigation and probing to determine that yes, indeed, something has gone wrong here. But it appears that in the past was once a boom keke anyway you go. It's shocking. But anyway, this is yet to be proven.
And
the investigation is about to begin. That's right. But what we know is that the money cannot be accounted for. As for that one, we know. Who took it is the question. All right then. Springfield makes history with the rig contract. We saw that story earlier. Police intensify search for Utumfo's chief killers. And Canadian girls kidnappers sweat over bail. Let them sweat. All right. On the back page, martial injury blocks Sanchez exit. Martial injury. What is that?
Martial is a player for Manchester.
Oh,
United.
It's somebody's name.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And you know Sanchez?
I know Sanchez, okay. Alexis Sanchez.
So I'm sure maybe they wanted to sell him to someone.
But because Martial is injured, they can't let him go just yet. Ah, okay. Now I'm on board. Kumasi ready for GNPC fastest final. Kotoko ladies show love in pillars demolishing. Is it demolition or demolishing? Not sure. Okay, remain focused is a story, and there's a picture of Alajia Abu Lamini with that story. You can check it out on the back page of the Daily Guide. I'm done.
All right, let's do the Ghanaian Times. And I'm just looking at the story on page 11. We had intelligence on contracts for sale before expose attributed to the special prosecutor Martin Amidu. But let's go back to the front page and check out what's making headlines. More than 1.7 million Ghanaians benefit from LEAP. Government collaborates with IPPS to resolve take-or-pay contracts. Ministry sets up committee to probe allegation of corruption in Rosewood trade. 5 die, others injured in gory road crash at Okanta. This is in Sawam Road, so the Accra Sawam Road. And according to the story, one vehicle was trying to overtake, in fact attempted to overtake in the process veered off and crashed into other oncoming vehicles. More than 4 vehicles involved in this accident. 10 young entrepreneurs in finals of Magdan Entrepreneurship Challenge is also another headline here. But if you go to page 11, this is where the Office of the Special Prosecutor has indicated that the issue of contract for sale has been a subject of ongoing investigations as part of a report brought to the attention of the OSP by the Auditor General's Department several months ago. It noted that a correspondence between the OSP and the presidency suggested that the recently publicized expose by Manasseh Azuri-Awene, a journalist, which indicted Ajenim Boateng Ejei, the chief executive officer of the Public Procurement Authority, resulting in a suspension, had been a subject of investigation by the Auditor General's Department for several months. That's the problem, isn't it? Because when state agencies investigate, we don't even know that they're investigating anything, and we don't get the results. We don't hear
Although,
anything.
to be fair, in this case, it doesn't appeer that there was a specific case that had been opened. What they're saying
so
is
this
that
is
they
the
had
general
intelligence.
thing.
Yeah, and I mean I can see how that would happen. There will be so many issues being brought to the attention of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. There will be people reporting things that, oh, look, this is happening here, this is happening here, so please investigate. The office would then have to allocate resources to that investigation, open a case, a doc or whatever they call it, a case, assign someone, give the person funds to then go and investigate. So that may not have happened yet, but what they are saying is that intelligence had reached them, you know.
No, but this is
matter.
something that was referred to the OSP by the Auditor General.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's what the story actually says.
So again, lots of things would have been referred to the Office of Special Prosecutor.
Which I get. My
but
point
not
is
everything
that
would have turned into a case yet.
So was this speedy because it was an individual journalist, something that the state itself for several months had been looking into it? It will be interesting to know what the OSP itself has found even before Manasseh's expose.
I think the point I'm trying to make is that a case hasn't been opened on it
No,
yet.
I'm not. I don't understand.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor has not opened a case.
Yeah,
file.
but the story
Well,
hasn't
there are so
said
many
it's,
cases that...
the story
No,
hasn't
it's not
said
that. It's not.
the import of the story is to say that Martin Amidu says that the Auditor General had made
told
them
him
aware of a situation
Good.
like that, which they
Very
are
good.
investigating. That's the import of it.
So he's saying that the investigation was already ongoing. They had a case file on it.
Yes.
That's interesting.
I mean, what do you mean by
That's
they have a
interesting.
case file?
Yeah, because many things will be reported to the Office of Special Prosecutor by different departments. Okay, I think you should
But
look
they
at
may
this.
not have
I think
opened
you
a
should look at
particular-
that. I think you should look at that. So they will have a list of things that they want to look into and see whether there's a case to investigate. Okay.
Well, I'm only reading what is in there.
I'm with you, and I'm saying that in there, does it say that they have started an investigation?
The thing is, I haven't read to the end.
Okay.
I am just telling
from
the
what you
import
read-
of the story that is in here.
So
So
from
you might want to probably take your time and
I
read it and get a better
I still have a
understanding.
question. I'm saying from what you read, did it say there that they have started an investigation? The Office of the Special Prosecutor has
I think
started
you
an
want to
investigation.
read the details of the story. It's a city newsroom story, by the way. So it's in the paper. You might want to read. I haven't read to the end, so I can't answer the question. All right, center spread of the paper. This story about 10 out of 20 young entrepreneurs competing in the Magdan Entrepreneurship Challenge. They have made it to the final phase of the competition. We started showing it here on Journey. It's like about 700 people applying. But 20 persons going into the competition itself and 10 finalists coming out. So the winner of the challenge is expected to walk away with $100,000 prize money to expand their enterprise at the grand finale slated for the last week in September. The Magdan Entrepreneurial Challenge, the first in series, is in fulfillment of a pledge by the Chief Executive Officer of the Magdan Group of Companies, Dr. Daniel Macaulay. And I guess congratulations will be appropriate. He started this and is gradually getting to the end. I actually want to see the $100,000.
A replica of Apprentice.
All right, back page real quick of the paper. Heavy rains in Wa West cut off 19 communities. Also, HIV/AIDS Research Fund launched in Accra. Last paper for me is the Daily Graphic. So here we go with graphic front page. Fund for HIV/AIDS cure launched. Government begins power contract renegotiations. Springfield strikes major deal. banner headline here, 6,000 public accounts closed. It's to ensure efficient management funds. And in the story, it explains that the MMDAs used to operate 12,000 different accounts that were detected by the cash management directorates of the controller. Controlling accountants departments. Mentally challenged on streets defeats clean city agenda is another headline there. Center spread. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture distributes 1.6 million cashew seedlings to farmers. CHAS, that's the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, recruitment of non-teaching staff to deal with increased enrollments. Will protect local businesses from unfair competition, according to the Trade Commission, the Ghana International Trade Commission, saying that. Back page of the paper. Ghana Health Service outlines immunization schedule against polio. Children between 0 and 59 months old living in 6 districts of the country will from September 4 to 7 this year be vaccinated against polio. Government inaugurates committee to investigate corruption in Rosewood trade. That story is on the back page of the paper.
So just 2 things I wanted to touch on really quickly. This one is just like one sentence. The take or pay power deals under review. I want us to watch this process very carefully. For over the next 3 months, the government is seeking to, finance and energy ministries are seeking to renegotiate or review the take or pay power deals. I think it's important to note that a take or pay power deal is not by itself a wrong thing or a bad thing. That is the nature of many of the power purchase agreements that were signed, particularly by the previous government, when we had an emergency situation. Who caused that emergency to another discussion for another day. But basically, because of that emergency situation, they went into these deals where whether you take the power from them or not, you must pay. And that creates quite a big financial burden on the government. But the reality is that is a very legitimate type of power deal. So this government now says they are going to go and review these deals with these private companies that have signed contracts already with the government of Ghana. So I wonder what the leverage of our government today is in this deal. I mean, you need the power, right? You still need it. We still have a situation where we need power. So what incentive do they have to make a private person who has signed a lucrative take or pay deal that is in his favor, make him decide to change it to some other type of deal, maybe take and pay or whatever?
And if you say we need the power, what do you mean? Because we have excess power, so to speak.
That is a situation that is a bit of a mirage. Okay, so yes, it's a bit of a mirage.
We do have the ability to produce power in excess,
but we can't afford to pay for the power. So the ability is not the issue. Okay, and by the way,
I know. But I'm talking about our ability to generate it. Yes,
so the point is this: it's not like if one take or pay person says, "I'm not going to change my deal to take or pay." Government can afford to say, "Okay, then go away. We don't need you," and then do what? And then do what?
I think when this was also announced by the finance minister in the mid-year budget review, the question that was posed was, what will be the opportunity cost to all this? Because either we have this or we don't have it at all. And the response had been that we're already paying monthly some sums, which in excess had a toll on government revenue. And at the end of the day, we have to make a decision. Of course, in trying to renegotiate, it comes at a cost. But if we have to peg it at the medium to long-term opportunities or the cost of it, then it becomes an issue.
Yeah, I guess for me the question is, why would a private power producer agree to vary a contract?
Well, they need the contract, but at the end of the day, we also would say
the money they are making for their shareholders is all based on the fact that the money is guaranteed, whether you take the power or not. Okay, so that if you don't, if you don't provide them with whatever it is they need to produce the power, whatever you do, you have to pay.
I agree.
And that is the deal that they have made with the government of Ghana. That's what the shareholders are pegging their projections of revenue on. And you are going to tell them to stop doing that. What is your leverage? That's what I'm interested in. Okay, and then Professor Ransford Jampo is saying something which Prof. Jampo is a friend of mine, by the way, great guy. I get on very well with him. But I completely disagree with everything he's saying in this recent literary piece of his, where he says African elections are about popularity and not competence. Ebe, every election is about popularity. You are trying to get the majority of people to choose you. That is the textbook definition of popularity.
It's actually about selling personalities and ideas.
It's about popularity.
Yeah.
That's the whole, I mean, that is the point of an election. The most popular person wins. That's the one who gets the most votes. I don't really understand what he's calling for here. He says we should be picking the competent. Well, a popular person cannot be competent.
We have to look. Our time is up.
Yeah, what a pity. But this is something I wish we could discuss further at a later time, because I completely disagree with everything he's saying here. Everything, all of it. Still a great guy.
Well, yesterday on his page, he came with a rejoinder because it was an earlier publication. But let's quickly do, Mamavi, let's do myjournline.com.
All right. Will President Akufo-Addo consider the CSO coalition demands is a question, but you have to read it to get a better understanding. Chinese community in Ghana condemns the West over Hong Kong unrest. Auditor General decries government officials buy just for buying sake. In the Eastern Region Operation Vanguard arrests 20 suspected illegal miners. 6 nominations for Ghana as Afrima releases final nominees lists. Kenya exports its first crude oil. Opioid crisis, Johnson & Johnson fined $572 million in landmark ruling.
Lots of money.
But we're told that they're going to appeal this decision. Illegal rosewood export, government sets up committee to investigate. Is it the environmental, no, EIA report. Okay, so that's the environmental impact assessment report. Details on myjournline.com. Probing suspended PPA boss, not tough at all. Strash boss Joseph Whittal telling MFR Power yesterday on Top Story on Joy FM that they've done this even in recent times. Okay. And this is not such a big case. Yeah, they're on top of it. I think there was another question too, whether or not somebody sitting above them could give them pressure, and he was, you know, what is that?
Says no pressure. So, no pressure at all.
All right, we have to take a breather for sports.
Under no pressure at all.
Lots of things in sports, including the US Open. It opened yesterday. Benedict is up with a lot more in sports.